friends, it's Marie with LivingFelt, and today we have a super beginner-friendly wet felting project called the Felt Autumn Leaf Bowl. Just look at these gorgeous vessels, bowls, or vases you can make. The layout is fast and easy, and you could just go crazy with the color combinations. What's more fun is it's a zero waste project, and yeah, even kids can do it. So this project was designed by our friend Peta Korb in Australia. She shared it with us to share with you. If you want to jump right into the tutorial and skip the rest of the live show, which you've picked up on our recording of, see the description down below and jump straight to the tutorial. While you're there, make sure that you grab the PDF, which is also going to have Peta's step-by-step instructions along with a list of supplies and the templates for making these fun little things. This is the Felt Autumn Leaf Bowl, and we hope you have a great time.
Hi, I'm Holly.
Hi, I'm Kayla.
Hi, I'm Marie, and we are coming to you live from LivingFelt because it's
Happy Woolly Wednesday!
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. It is a lovely fall day here. Hey, look, it's Fairy Hannah.
Hi, everybody.
We are having a busy and beautiful fall day. We're so glad for you joining us today. And what are we up to today, gals?
A lot of different stuff. Right now, just bolting some silk.
Goodie bags, making goodie bags.
Oh, fun, fun, fun.
Yeah, I've been putting together some more Boo Kitty kits.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
sold out already.
Boo Kitty's been so popular. Hey, and while everyone's here, I want to tell y'all, so I don't know if you know, but we've decided to have a little contest, and it goes through, we're going to announce the winner this Friday, so that means it goes through Thursday. She's got 2 more days. We're going to give away this Boo Kitty bag that I finished from Kayla's project that she designed for us. We're going to give away this felted bag and a Boo Kitty kit, and all you got to do is follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and then post on our Instagram feed. Look for this little guy and post a comment underneath. On Friday, we're going to draw a winner and give away the prize.
Fun.
Yeah, super fun. So thanks for being here, everyone. We have a really fun wet felting tutorial project today, but the gals have some stuff to show you first. Who's going first?
I'm going first.
All right, we're out of here.
Hi friends, thank you so much for being here with us today. If you need a refresher on your wet felting tools or need a fabulous place to start, we just wanted to share with you one of our favorites. It's the Wet Felting Tools Bundle. It's going to come with a ball broth sprinkler, olive oil soap, some mesh, a Bertha ball, some resist, a bamboo mat, and then some bubble wrap, and it's going to come in this really cute jute bag. And you even have options to upgrade the size of the resist that comes in the bundle, and you can even add some super bubble. Thanks for being here with us. I hope you enjoy the show.
Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing today? So I've got a little something special to show y'all. This lovely little guy is a Bill B from Australia. The lovely artist Peta Korb made this for us here at the store. She's also the one that had the inspiration to create the wet felted leaf bowl that we're about to create. So we just wanted to say thank you, Peta, for the awesome little goodie, the beautiful little creation. And thank you for the beautiful technique and the beautiful idea of the bowl that we're about to create. And there's a little shot of Peta's card. Thank y'all. Have a great one.
Hi, I have excitement. We have wood slices back in stock, and these are the best wood slices. I have bought a lot of wood slices in the past, but these are superior. So we have them back, and they're perfect for as a display piece for the pumpkin house or the fantasy owls or pretty much anything you want. So grab them while we got them.
Alrighty, everybody, and we're doing some wet felting today. I know Ann showed the wet felting tool bundle as well, but I'm showing some of our wooden hand rollers. So the first one that we've got is called a felt prodder. And this little hook on the end is great for shaping and for really stretching out your wet felted pieces. Second one I've got, this one is called the Minimalist, and I have this one actually at home. All these grooves on here are really great for wet felting, more kind of durable projects here. And then we also have the next size up, which is called the Modest one. This one's got handles on it. It's kind of like a rolling pin with these grooves in here. We have one more size that's a little bit bigger than this one, but yeah, they're awesome for wet felting.
Thank you, gals. Thank you. Aren't they amazing? So the fairies wanted to show you those few back in stocks, and we want to do a huge shout out to our friend Peta Korb. Peta is my fairy sister from down under. When she found out we were doing her project today, she decided to stay up. So hi, Peta. I know it's very late where you are. I don't even think it's fall there. But when Peta was here this summer, she designed this project. She was testing out the pre-felt that we sell in the shop, and she felted this and a multitude of what she calls the autumn leaf bowls in her hotel room. And she agreed at the time to let us turn it into a tutorial, which we're doing today. And so hi, Peta. And it's Aussie Day so I'm wearing my hat. And Peta brought me this hat from Australia. And so, hey, you know what? Let me show you a picture of Peta here. How about that? There's a shot of me and Peta together when she came this summer, and she came over 10,000 miles to come visit us, and it was her second trip to LivingFelt. So we're so glad to have her here, and here with us virtually today. So Peta agreed to let us share this tutorial with you all as a project, and she left this one with us and a little tiny one too. And then I made a variation on that using fall colors that I like. And so here are two leaf bowls that I made using her same method. She and I felt just a little bit differently. So what's fun about that is if you grab the PDF download, you will get the patterns, the supplies we're using, and you'll get to watch the video of how I felt it. And then Peta also wrote out step-by-step instructions of how she felt it, which is very, very similar. There's just a couple of little changes. So Anne's going to post a link, and after the live show, once we get the video all produced, we upload it to YouTube, so it's there in perpetuity, and then we'll post it there on that autumn leaf page as well. So let's say hi to just a couple of folks before we jump into this. It's so nice to see you all. I see Kathleen, she says she signed up. Sis Hewitt says hi. Sharon says she needs wood slices. Sherry J says she's excited to use this as a centerpiece. I see Heather. Hi, Heather. Hi, Barbara. It's so nice to see you all. So you'll see some of our veterans are checking in on the live show. What happens is if you contribute to the conversation, maybe you make a fun comment that grabs the Fairy Anne's attention, maybe you contribute to the conversation, your name will go into our Magic Pumpkin Bowl, and at the end we give away prizes. So be sure you stick around for the whole thing. And yeah, are they ready to felt the autumn leaf bowl, Anne?
They are ready.
Okay, guys, so let's look at the supplies you need for this project. And I want to tell you before we even look, this is the most beginner-friendly wet felting project we've ever done, other than probably the pancake method. But it might be even easier because there's like no layout involved. Super, super easy. So let me cue this up.
Oh, Sonia says, yay, Peta.
Yay, Peta. Look, let's just a quick look at the supplies that you need for this project. We are using our 19 micron pre-felt, and I'm going to be working with 6 colors on my project. These are our 1/8 of a yard cuts, so they are very small, and you can make several bowls with these. If you're going to grab the download. In the download, you're going to see this leaf pattern, and this is just a really thin foam resist. But grab the leaf pattern because you're going to want to make it the same size. And you're going to want a little piece of resist. We just sell a foam resist in the shop. This is perfect. And this circle is 9.5 inches diameter.
and the leaf pattern is a maximum of about 6 inches tall at its tallest point. The points, I think, the points on the leaves are what make this project super duper interesting. That's all you need for supplies. Crazy easy.
Linda and Karen love those colors.
I love them too. I really do. Now, Peta, let me show you real quick because I think Peta used 4 or so colors in hers, and she stayed with the hot tones. And it's so fun how these come together, and they can even be a little more lacy. And I got a little crazy with mine. I'll tell you how we achieved this. It's Peta's ingenuity, I promise. And then this is my bowl, and I'm going to show you how to make this one today using these colors. So let's get started.
Susan says, thank goodness my birthday is this month. Big wish list going on.
Here's how we start is you're going to want to get your foam pad, and you're going to want to start making your leaf pairs. Choose, this is really, really Peta's ingenuity that came up with this, and then I just applied my own leaf pattern or colors, not pattern, but colors together. So she played with, and you'll see in her little PDF, some different color combinations that she used. I put together a purple and a green. I put together a yellow and an orange. And then I put together this rust color and brown. You want to make 9 leaf pairs, and how you do that is you put your pair colors together, and then you're going to get a multi-needle tool and needle felt this, just tack it together so it's all sticking together. So you're just going to tack it with your multi-needle tool and then cut out your leaves. So I'm going to do that here with you now on this one rather than burn out that big piece. Here's my pairs. I used 42 triangle in my needle tools, and woo-wee, look at this needle tool. This is called, I was trying to decide what to call this needle tool. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it the SIL needle tool for So In Love. I love this new needle tool. It holds our painted needles. It holds our regular needles. It's a gorgeous black walnut, but it's not available for sale yet. Look for that later this October. Okay, so what you're going to do is just tack this together so it's sticking together. And do that for, each pair of colors at a time. Once you have it tacked together, then you're going to put your leaf pattern on there. A couple of straight pins is all you need, and my hot tip is bring the heads down off the points. So just pin it on so that you have it, and don't worry if it sticks over the edge because all you have to do is stretch this stuff. I just put 3 pins per, just so it kind of stays on there while I fidget with it and cut it out. And you can rough cut these things. They don't have to be perfect.
If we don't have pre-felt, could we use MC1?
You could, MC1 does cut out really nicely into pre-felt shapes. The colors will migrate together a little bit more because it's so unfelted, and it'll take just a little bit longer to felt. This pre-felt is a 19 micron. It's a short fiber, and it's going to felt up really fast. And it'll shrink a little bit more than the MC1 also. But yes is the answer. It's just going to behave a little differently. Now you want to save all these little scrappy pieces that I have going on because Peta designed a zero waste project, and I'll talk you through that after we get our piece felted. For anyone who's brand new to wet felting, we're going to look at just a real simple setup for doing this project, and she did this in her hotel room, so you can do it in the kitchen or the bathroom or on your back porch. Super easy to do. So it's a real rough cut. You don't have to get funky with it, but take all of your scraps and save them and set them aside. Just put them all aside. Now, Peta put her tiniest scraps together and then her medium-sized scraps together, and I just put all my scraps together. So again, you're going to learn 2 different ways to do this project. All right, so cut out all your leaf pairs, just like I've done here, and then the fun part comes out and we just get to start laying out.
Ooh, I think the SIL tool made a lot of Christmas lists.
Oh, I'm so in love with that tool. And it's not even all that expensive. You'll see. So once you see, you'll be glad to have it. Okay, so quick layout for wet felting. This is what we're doing today. I'm going to put down my grippy mat. I am going to put down a towel. It's like my apron towel model, which means it kind of runs off the table so I can wipe my hands on it. The grippy mat just keeps me from sliding around on the table. And then I'm actually going to put down another grippy mat because I'm kind of grippy crazy. I like to not slide around while I'm working. And then I'm putting down our super bubble. So I'm putting down our super bubble. So now some of you are knowing why Anne showed you all this fancy stuff. All right, so I've got my super bubble down. I'm going to put down, thank you so much, a little layer of plastic on the bottom. I've got some really nice hot water here, and my soap is buried in there because I like to get my water a little soapy before I start. And this is just super, super thin, like painter's plastic. It's about a 0.5 mil or something like that. Sorry, my big hat. Gotta keep my big hat off the camera. I love my hat, Peta. Okay. Now you put your foam resist down. If you don't have, we sell a resist material. If you just don't have anything, use cardboard or some really thick plastic. But now the fun comes of putting your leaf patterns down. You're going to use about 5 pairs on side 1 and 4 pairs on side 2. And let's see, I'll save these for the side 2. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, that way. When you lay out your project, we're going to leave the top open, and that's where all the spiky bits come from. You can even leave kind of holes in the project like Peta did and get a really nice lacy effect, like having some holes in the middle. Does that show? Leave some holes in the middle, but we want to cover the sides here pretty good and the bottom pretty good so that it stands. So I'm going to go like that, and maybe, I don't know.
And how thick is the pre-felt that we're using today?
You know, it's lofty. It has a bit of a lofty nature to it. So if you look at it here, this is one piece of the pre-felt. It's a bit lofty, and you could peel the layers if you wanted it, but it gets real disorganized if you do. So it's just a little bit lofty. Maybe a little bit loftier than some other pre-felts that you've used. Okay, so I have my leaf pattern laid out. Woo woo, that's the fastest you've ever seen me lay out a wet felting project, I know. Okay, and now I'm going to put my mesh over the top. This is one thing that's slightly different from Peta and I is she doesn't use the mesh, so use what you like. I'm going to wet my project here. I like to get my sponge soapy. I'm going to tuck it down here, and I like to press the water all the way through, and you notice that first you get a big puddle, but then the fiber around it kind of soaks it up. I am using hot water today because we're not using any silk fabric, so you can go ahead and use hot or warm water, whatever you're comfortable with. Don't burn your hands. Now,
shares, this is so cool. Teresa says, I can't wait to try this.
I know. I want to make some pre-felts with, bling fibers for this project. I think like 1 or 2 leaves just on top with some nice bling fibers would be great, but I want to do it just like this first. Now, I like the mesh because I can feel the status of what's happening with the wool underneath, and for me by status I mean how wet is it? How much soap do I have on there? So I am pressing water in, soap in, and air out. Before we flip it over, you can massage just a tiny, tiny bit and start to form a skin of these leaves. This project's going to felt up pretty quick for us. Whenever you're using mesh, you want to make sure and peel back often to make sure you're not sticking. And the more adept you get to working with it, the better you'll get at knowing how much pressure to apply. This is a super fun project for kids because they can cut out all the patterns. You know, they can lay it down, and wet felting is going to be super easy. And if you read Peta's instructions, she just puts another layer of plastic on top, so you don't even have to worry about the kids, you know, rubbing too hard. They can rub pretty much till their heart's content. So now I'm just going to flip it over. All right, I forgot I like to use a second piece of plastic for that. Do I have one? I'm just going to flip the whole thing over. If you have another piece of plastic, you can put it over, you know, on the top. Well, now you get to make some decisions about who comes over and who goes under. So dry your hands and let's put together side 2. I've got a brown here and a brown here. I've got no orange sticking up, so I think I'm going to have an orange sticking up right here. And I like to just see how are these things going to come together. You know, so one's going to lay over on top of the other. And remember, you can have holes. It's okay to have little holes in this project.
Kelsey says, I really want to try this. I'm loving these fall projects.
Fall is like one of those magical times. I swear, you can just, it feels like there's just no end to the number of projects when it comes to fall. I don't know how I want to go about this. I think I'm going to put this guy here, and this guy down here, and this guy down here. And then just figure out how to wrap everybody else around. I don't mind if the browns come together some. And this one can even go, you know, back over to the other side if you want. All you want really is for everything that you bring over to really hug the sides. Make sure that you're really hugging the sides of the resist. It's the most common thing is to let that be too loose. So now that I have a basic plan, what I'm going to do is wet this side and then fold all my leaves over.
Jessica asks, why does the wool and mesh not felt together like nanofelting?
It would. What would happen is the fiber would pill and start to snag onto the mesh if you rub too hard. But you know, with nanofelting, we usually use a natural fiber like a silk or a cotton, but this is a man-made fiber and it tends to be a little more resistant to felting. However, if you rub too hard, the fiber will start to pill up and snag on the mesh. So if that happens, just back off your pressure. That's just the one thing to keep in mind. You're just rubbing too hard if that happens. And I just wanted to wet that all down so that I can make decisions about how everybody is going to overlap. I want some guys to come under and some guys to go over. You know what I mean? So that there's some variance in how this looks. Snug, snug, snug. You can pull this stuff a little bit. You're not going to hurt it. I think I'm going to bring him over and him under. You're not going to get this wrong either. Now, out of these 8 cuts of pre-felt, I'm getting 4 bowls. I think I wrote 3, but I think we're going to get 4. So out of the way I made them. With Peta's, you can get a little bit more because she goes with even smaller bowls. But I'll tell you how I made my second bowl too. Okay, so we've got all our little leaf pairs in, and we just want to, you know, close all our gaps the best we can, and we have these fun little pokey-uppy bits happening too. And I'm gonna just make sure everybody's wrapped around well, and then we're gonna felt. Sorry, head. I can see my head is blocking that. Can y'all edit that out? Cut. Okay. Mash, mash, mash. And again, I just like to rub with my hands a little bit and kind of get stuff forming a skin. Just form a skin and rub around the edges. Now, this is the boring part, so now's a good time to kind of ask questions. I'll explain what I'm doing, and then if you've never felt it before or if any of this is confusing, it'll be a good time to pause and let us help you.
Right, the connectivity is a little bit weak, so the live broadcast is interrupting frequently.
Okay, I'm just rubbing lightly. And remember to peel back your mesh and make sure that nothing is sticking. And some people, you know, don't rub at all. I just happen to be a rubber. I like to rub the initial stages of my project. The soap we're using is olive oil soap. We import it from France. It has a very high oil content, which helps hold in the water to the project. It acts like a really nice glue. And it also changes the pH of the fiber and helps those fibers open up. Okay, so we have this big sort of soapy, wet mess, which is perfect. And again, I'm just getting everything to kind of hug the sides. And then we're going to roll. Now you can roll this project all by itself, which is Peta style, or you could use a little bit of a buffer or some kind of roller if you're more comfortable with that. But what's different about this project is we're initially going to roll just from the bottom up. We want to keep this on the resist and the resist is open, so we're going to roll from the bottom up for a while and then from the sides. So we don't want to roll down and squish it off the resist. So now I'm going to seal this all in the plastic. I'll use, let's see. If it's helpful for you to roll in something, you might use like a bamboo. Bamboo might be a little aggressive for this, but you can roll your bamboo up into a little circle and use it in the middle. And how we use a rolling bar is, you know, just like that. The plastic's going to help lock everything in, but notice that this is a very, it's kind of a delicate project and in a delicate place right now. So don't press hard. Just kind of rock and roll. I think Peta suggests like she rolls 100 times. I rolled about 40 times per side. And we're gonna felt this thing as much as we can together. You just want it to stay round. So if you have any problem keeping your shape or keeping your bundle bound, then get yourself a little quilt square and roll your bundle up in that quilt square. The quilt square gets wet and acts as a really nice security blanket for your project, and you don't have to tie it. So I'm just rocking and rolling, but what I do is I sort of rock and roll for a certain count, and then I give it kind of a quarter turn and I rock and roll more. What you don't want is your project to get flat, and you don't want it to slip. You don't want to feel the material under there grinding against itself, and you don't want it to get flat. You want it to rock. You should at least be able to rock it the length of your hand, you know what I mean? We're not just doing this. You want rolling to happen. And after a time, let's flip it over and go from the other side. You're going to notice that it's kind of scrunching up. It's okay. We're going to retreat it on this side. Okay, so now we've rolled from the top and the bottom, and oh look, it's all starting to kind of mash together. So you can go back and we can do that some more, but we also want to rub, you know, roll from the sides. And I like to feel what's happening under here and get my hands in there and make sure I'm keeping everything nice and close to the resist. So I'm going to go ahead and massage towards the middle. Sorry, you know. I'm going to massage towards the middle, and make sure that my resist, my fiber is hugging my resist as best as possible.
That's the most thing you want to be sure of, is that it doesn't slip off and felt together. Okay, so see how I'm putting my finger around the edge? This is one way to treat those edges. You can also kind of tuck your mesh underneath and make sure that you're not letting it slip off the resist. You want it to hug the resist tightly.
Folks are getting inspired about using this technique for Christmas. Someone said making a bowl with holly leaves.
Oh,
So
what a
fun.
great idea. Holly leaves. I know, I'm telling you, like, I looked at this and I thought it almost doesn't matter what colors you use on this project. You could go full on beachy, you know, and just have fun with, I think the points make it interesting. Even if they were rounded, it's just having a shape, having an interesting shape and intersections that is not completely predictable. And, you know, then you could do something a little more predictable as well, all squares or whatever, or monochrome. There's so many ways you could go with this. Okay, I'm going to roll a little bit from side to side. And you can roll the project just on itself also. You don't have to use the rolling bar, but you might like to still use the cloth so that you have something that's not just sliding around on you.
Edwina says, I made the pumpkin house and felted a little person at the door.
Oh.
That was so cute.
So I'd like to see, you know, a round of hands, maybe like thumbs up, or give us a comment if like you've never wet felted before, but you think that this might be a wet felting project that you would endeavor to try. Let's hear from you on that for the folks watching the live show. Now, I'm just going to roll this side to side a little bit, and then you're going to see how much impact this rolling has. It will felt actually a little bit faster. Not having a bar in the middle, not having something to push it against it. But you might feel a little more confident, at least in your first rolls, if you have a core, something that, so it doesn't feel too sloppy.
Ooh, Marla says, this looks like a fun project. She's excited to try it.
I really had a good time. It's not something I would have thought of on my own. Now look at, see how this is starting to curl up already? See how notice that it's kind of bowed? That's because the fiber is shrinking more than the distance of the resist. So what I'm going to do is flip it over. See how it's buckling under there? That shows you how fast this stuff felts up. So I'm going to go side to side a little bit more. You're pretty good on time. We're going to have to kind of push the envelope here. I would say, you know, give yourself an hour and a half or so for this project, or make a few in a day. I'm going to juice up my hot water here. We're going to felt this thing down and show you a couple of ways that you might shape it. Oh, look at this. Now it's really starting to shrink up in there. And we can actually, when you see that, you can take it off the resist. So just for fun, I'm going to go up and down a little bit more. This is a really fast project to felt, but you know, it's the rolling part is always maybe seems like a little boring. I never mind it, but you can always put on a show or a couple of good songs, or a couple of good songs while you're felting. Okay, so we're really shrinking up on our resist here. What I'm going to do is blot out a little bit of water Sometimes the best way to get your felt to speed up a little bit is to go ahead and take a little bit of water out. Okay, so we kind of have a fabric going here, and we're going to felt it more off of our resist. But look at this. Look how fun this is. Are we frozen? Look how fun this is, the inside, and how fun those colors are. So you can see that we don't have a seam. If I turn this inside out, and by a seam is when it felts to itself off the resist, you can see as I turn it inside out that there's no seam here at all. And you can even felt it with your hands a little bit now. And I have some hot water here. And you can felt across the whole thing and do what I call palming and kind of rub the two sides together. So what we have is a soft felt, and now this is the fulling stage. The fulling stage it's a fun place to be, because now what you're doing, fulling is further shrinking the felt or getting those fibers to come more closely together. Palming is very effective for just kind of mashing those layers together.
Dawn says, wow, it looks great, Marie.
Thank you. Thank you, Peta, for this fun project. I mean, there's so much you can do with it, so I'm going to try and muscle through this. We've got 20 minutes, and I'm going to just show you a few things to think about. I want to shrink this down, and I want to shape it. So to shrink it down now, we can roll it, and you can roll it tight. This is like a walk and roll. Which Peta might describe in her directions. Her initial rolling was just a walk and roll in one direction, but I used a roller bar, so mine is a little more safe. Can't explain that, you'll just have to feel it. So this is, I do call this a walk and roll, and immediately you can feel it tighten up. See how that's crinkling? Because it's shrinking together, it's getting smaller. You can squeeze. I'm going from side to side at the moment more than the upsy downsies, and I'm going to show you why. I'll go a little up and down, but I don't want to lose too much height just yet. I want to show you what I want to make with this. How I made my tall one.
Pam says it would make a great maple leaf hat for us Canadians.
Especially if you have a little head. So I guess I'm going to start a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm going to shrink. What I'm going to do is squeeze a little bit of the cold water out, and then I'm going to add some hot water. So I'm just plunging it into the hot water to kind of heat up the fibers, and that will help shrink it down a little bit. My water's soapy. Okay. You can roll it between your hands. Spot fulling is when you want a particular area to shrink more than the others. So you would particularly work on that area. Like if you wanted the top to go in more, then you just pinch and roll and work that part. And what I want to do is shape mine to be like this one here, more like a little bucket. And so I just grabbed a container from my kitchen, which you see I put all my spare parts in, and I'm going to stretch it over this container. I like to do this before I'm finished felting, so that you kind of see where you're going with it, and you know how much more you need to shrink it in what parts. So we're not really necessarily at the blocking stage, but we want to kind of felt it to this shape. So while it's still warm and while it's still soapy, you can start to work it over whatever shape. You might choose something that's rectangular or square. You might choose something that's triangular or has points. Or look, you can felt something on this shape and work points into it also. You can work points, give it something interest, and what you do is you just keep working those points, and then when it dries overnight, we can pin them into that shape if you want it to be a little more organic. So you can felt it to this, and see how it's a little loosey-goosey on there? What I find is if you want it to come in closer, then now that you see that this part is a little loose, then come back and shrink this width some more. so that you have to almost stretch it to come back onto the vessel. Now, and if you just don't think you can get it to shrink anymore, I'll show you what you can do there also.
Connie says this is the stage where I really remind the felt who's boss.
Who's boss, Connie? Okay, this is just a quick work here to see if I can get that top part to shrink down a little bit, such that I want to be able to stretch it onto my container a little bit. Well, that's better. That is a tighter fit. See how it's not as loose as it was? It's a little bit tighter. So you can make it as tight or as loose as you want. So what you want to do is felt it kind of to the shape that you want. And once you're happy with that shrinkage, then it's time to rinse it. Rinse out all of the soap, and you can do a quick vinegar rinse. A vinegar rinse is just to help cut the last of the soap. So you can rinse it in hot and cold water. You can even continue fulling it a little bit while it's in the hot and cold water. There are various ways to full. We've been just rolling and rubbing. So if you want it to get a little bit wild, you can just wad it. You can wad it like this. If you tend to throw it or bounce it, then the fibers tend to pucker a little bit more. They kind of will start to kink up on you a little bit. But once you have it the size that you want, rinse out all of the soap with hot and cold water. You can do a quick vinegar rinse to help cut the soap. It also tends to make the wool, bring it back to its natural sheen and its natural softness, but then bring it back and put it back on your shaper and leave it overnight. Whatever is that thing, leave it overnight to dry. And if you have parts that you just want to shrink down a little bit more, you can tie a t-shirt or polar fleece or fabric and bind it a little bit. But the sharper that line is, you're going to see, you're going to see that cut, but it can help shrink it in. If you want to keep in some interesting shapes, then while it's drying, pin it into those shapes overnight so that you get some really fun kinks and curls into your piece, and just set it to dry overnight like that. Okay, so that is how I made this bucket right here. But let's look at what to do with your scraps. So after you make your first bucket and you're setting it to dry, then is a good time to deal with your scraps.
Heather says, I am amazed. My brain is working up all kinds of ideas right now.
Now I have my scraps, they're going to get all wet. I kind of don't want to get them wet because I won't be actually felting them. So let me dump them out here on my towel. Thank you, Anne.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to dump out my scraps actually on the table so you can get a look at this. Look at all that material that's just kind of waste. Now, Peta came up with a couple of shapes, and what she did is she separated her pieces into sort of medium-sized pieces and little bitty scribby pieces. And she made 2 more vessels using smaller size resists, using the same method except for mosaicing these all together. And that, you can see that if you download the PDF on our website, you can see how she did that. But what I did, just to come up with something a little bit different, is what you see that image off to the right, is I kind of just piled the fiber and I just kind of scooped it together and made a semi-even pile, and then moved the fibers where I wanted them and started to felt like a plate or a flat shape. And then after that, I got my kitchen bowl. Where's my kitchen bowl? I think it's in my office. I got my kitchen bowl, and you know how we were just felting around that container? I felted the plate once it was in a soft felt stage. I just felted it over that bowl and made this sort of melted crayon type thing. So that all of this made one of these, and then the tall vessel that you see. Yep, that's what we did. And so that's the magic Peta Felt Autumn Bowl tutorial. I know the video was cutting in and out. For those of you who are watching us live and for everybody who stuck around, thank you. And we will post that on YouTube. So sorry for the glitchiness there. What we're going to do is in 2 weeks, I want to come back and look at some stiffening techniques. I know that some of you have been asking about that. So we're going to look at some real easily obtainable ways that you might want to stiffen your felt vessels. Nothing too crazy, nothing too toxic. So give yourself 2 weeks and make up some vessels. Felt just anything over a simple little resist. Make a bowl of any shape or make a container of any shape. Try this tutorial, try someone else's tutorial, and then let's come back and maybe look at some ways to stiffen if your pieces, you want to give them just a little more character. Next week I have a needle felting project for you, something for your holiday table. So I hope that you'll wet felt this and give us your feedback and let us know how you do. And make sure to download that. And I think the fairies are already going to come back and we're going to give away some prizes. So I'm going to look and see what some of y'all are saying. I know it was kind of crazy while they're coming back. Oh, lots of comments. You guys have been busy. Someone's going to win something just now. Somebody is. Sharon says that would make a beautiful vase with fall plants in it. Kelly, thank you for that nice comment. Helen says she's wanted to wet felt, but she's been a little intimidated. I totally get it. And this project is actually, there's not even any layout involved. It's just piecing. Christy's excited. She's going to make a snowflake bowl with whites and blues for the holiday. That's an amazing idea. Jane says she loves leaves and it would be fun in different shapes too. Yep, okay, great. And this is, yep, these are made from merino. Come on in, girls. So we're going to give away some prizes now. Thank you everybody for felting with us. I'm going to scoot down here and tell me about our oh, look, everyone's here. All right, Ann, tell me about our prizes today.
We have all the winners will get to pick their choice of 2 prizes. The first one here is the tools needed to wet felt your own autumn leaf bowl. We've got the soap, some bubble wrap, and of course the resist.
Fun.
And then the second prize is the pre-felt needed to make it.
Yeah, fun. So I used 6/8 cuts of pre-felt for my project, and that would make 4 vessels, 2 buckets and 2 bowls. So you get to pick. So we're going to draw names. If you're not in our database, that means you've never ordered from us before. Hurry, go run to our website and set up an account so that we can get your items to you as quickly as possible. Let's draw some names, y'all.
And our first winner today is Janine Gee.
Yay! So just email us, Janine, or give us a call and let us know which of these 2 prizes you want.
My turn.
All right. Barbara Nass.
Yay! Barbara, congratulations. One more, Holly.
One more.
Woo-hoo.
Oh, you got 3. Okay, here we go. Megan Robbins.
Yay! Megan. Congratulations to all of our winners, and thank you, everyone. And everyone, please, before you go, a big heart and a shout out to Peta. Hi, Peta. Time to go to bed now.
Thank you, Peta.
We love you, Peta, and we'll see you soon next summer at least.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us for this project, the Felt Autumn Leaf Bowl. We hope you've had fun, and we hope you will share yours in our group, Living Felt Friends, on Facebook. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you get notified every time we go live. And hey, join us live Wednesdays at 2 o'clock Central on Facebook. Watch for a new video next week. We'll see you next time. Bye.